Hello, I'm happy to see you.
So glad as well. Very honored. Thank you.
I think it's time to reveal to the audience that you are a real person. In my last video, I reported that some of my friends were not so sure. I think people should know a little more about you and your wonderful work.
Thank you so much.
I have a few questions, if you are prepared. Here's my first one. When did you start singing?
I think pretty early. I think I was a little girl. Everyone likes to sing, I think.
But when was the moment when you realized that you wanted to work creatively with your singing, your voice?
Yeah, maybe when I started learning the piano, I think that's when I started dreaming maybe about making music one day and possibly write my own songs, maybe when I was 9. Yeah, because I started, learning some piano. I took some piano lessons. And yeah, maybe at that time.
But it's a long way from playing the piano to singing to writing your own songs, to write your own songs. When did that happen?
I think I've always loved songs, particularly. I always listened to songs, also all sorts of music, but mainly I just enjoy songs. They speak to me in so many different ways. And so I think I always dreamed about writing beautiful songs, hopefully that made people cry with emotions. That was and still is actually. This is still my biggest dream, to make people emotional with songs.
I know a few things about you, and one thing is your parents come from different countries with different cultures.
So my father is Japanese and my mother is Italian. And I was born in Rome, in Italy, and I've lived there half of my life. And then I went to live in London for a long time. Then I went back to Italy, and now I'm back in England again. So I guess I've been between these two countries, and surely I am also part Japanese.
What would you say? Are you a Japanese Italian or an Italian Japanese?
If I should mention my father origins first, then I should say Japanese Italian. But I think I thought about it, but it won't make any difference because I'm still stuck in between.
Yes,
So
yes.
it won't make much of a difference.
Do your parents and the cultures they brought into your life influence your music?
Yeah, I think it did. But I think my father, introduced me to the emotional side of music, I have to say, because he used to listen to lots of music and classical music. I fell in love with Chopin, as everyone did, I think. And I just always pointed out the emotional force behind music. He used to get quite emotional with music, and I think that somehow, just now belongs to myself as well. I've been always looking for that sort of magic.
I guess you don't like bands like Metallica, heavy metal, hard rock.
I do, in a way that I understand the energy that every style of music brings. But if I have to stick to my dreamland, I just would love to write music to make people weep. This is my biggest dream, so I'm a bit stuck.
How do you develop a new song? First the lyrics, then the music, or an emotion?
It may vary. Usually I look for possibly a chord to start with. Sometimes it's just a melody that rings in my head. And sometimes something has happened to me, or I would like to express some sort of feeling or thought. And I think that's the little place you can start things from. So it varies. I think it varies. But you always look for that sort of secret place in a way.
Do you think your inspiration has a specific source?
I don't want to sound too new agey, but I think it's a bit of a mysterious place, and I like it to keep it that way. Sometimes you want to analyze things a bit deeper, but I think it is a mysterious place that even creativity comes from in many other ways, not just music, you know. But I like to think is a magic, mysterious place that we all belong to. So I think that's why we all can connect somehow and feel connected in that force.
Do you have a specific time or atmosphere in which you write your songs? Do you write after breakfast or at midnight?
I think so. I think early morning is the best time for me. Very early, sometimes really early.
You are an early bird.
Really crazy early, like 3:30.
That's very early.
And I just love mornings. They're very quiet. I just enjoy mornings very much. I think that's the best time to do anything, almost.
You recently released 2 new songs, Run and Pour In My Head. And you also did a beautiful cover of Cock Robin's When Your Heart Is Weak.
You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it very much. I will put a link to them in the description of this video.
Yeah.
What are your musical plans for the future?
I'm just going back to one. I'm going back to exactly what I dreamt of when I started making music. And I've been lucky enough to experience a few things in music, and I've been happy to do that. But somehow I just wanted to feel the same emotions I felt when I was struggling and I was a little kid dreaming about making music to make people cry. And I just need that sort of energy nowadays. I'm in that moment. And so I'm just trying to recollect exactly the reason why I'm making music, beside everything that might happen in my life or in the world. You know, I'm just trying to go back to that sort of pure joy in making music.
And my very last question, and I don't even know if it's allowed to ask it. Okay, I'm speaking to you as OLO. Is it allowed to reveal your real name?
It's a bit of a long story, but
It's a long story.
I never used OLO in my life. You know, I've been in music for 20 years, even a little bit longer, and I've never used any other name apart from my own. But when I studied OLO, I didn't want to be so much upfront. I didn't want to share exactly my name and not even my pictures. You know, I had a picture that was sort of hiding, but just because I wanted to share music on a just sound and lyrics level.
And to let the
And
person behind it, to let
yes,
the music speak for its own
yes,
in this way. Yeah.
which I still want to do. But then I decided to actually go back to my name because I was experiencing troubles with so many different OLO artists. Yeah, and it created a bit of a mess for myself and the channels that I opened. So it was getting too messy, and I decided to go back to my name. At least there's no so many hopefully sharing my name and surname, so it'll be a little bit more clear, I suppose. And that's the main reason why I went back to my name.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Jane Kumada, also known as OLO.
Sometimes.
Jane, I thank you so much for your time and for your wonderful music, in which I was allowed to actively participate for some time.
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you.
It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All the best.
See you.
Bye bye.